Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm just going to be kind of doing a recap video, just talking about every new DC TV show currently in the works. I'm going to be going through starting with things that have a scheduled release, then going on to things that have been ordered, as in they've officially placed an order for a season 1 or a limited series, but they don't necessarily have a release year yet. And then I'm also going to look at stuff that's in development. So they're currently developing it, maybe they're working on a pilot episode, but it hasn't been officially ordered yet. So let's just jump into this with Zack Snyder's Justice League. I've talked about this enough before. This is basically alternate cut of Justice League. They've done some reshooting that's apparently just like 4 minutes of the movie, but it's gonna be like 4 hours long, which equates to 4 one-hour episodes coming out in the spring of next year, 2021. No release date specifically, but the tentative release window is sometime in March, but it could be a little later than that, depending on how things go. I think you all know about Zack Snyder's Justice League, so let's keep going here. We got Superman and Lois, which is the only other one that has a confirmed release time, which is in January or February of 2021. It is part of the Arrowverse, airing on the CW. It is a direct spin-off of Supergirl, acting as, I guess you could say, somewhat of a replacement for Arrow, because Arrow ended last year, so they're having that male lead show there with Superman and Lois. But obviously, Lois is also in the title, and it'll be a bit of an interesting take on it, because it'll have them in, it won't be an origin story. It'll be a well-worn Superman and Lois living in Smallville. I think they're doing that, which is a good angle to have. I don't think we've really seen that very much in TV, unless you count the TV show Smallville, which is kind of the opposite of this show. Anyway, some stuff that's been ordered includes Peacemaker. Peacemaker is a DC Extended Universe show. It's going to be released on HBO Max. It's a direct spin-off of the Suicide Squad, starring John Cena as the Peacemaker, and there's also other cast members out there with different roles as well. I'm not going to go super in detail as to the plots of these shows, mostly just release and who's involved and where it fits. So this is going to be controlled by James Gunn, the writer, director, whatever, for the Suicide Squad. And as for release, we don't have one yet. It's going to be 8 episodes long. We don't technically have confirmation that it's a mini-series, but it is 8 episodes, which is a mini-series, and it seems like they're doing this kind of to mimic the Disney Plus Marvel Studios shows. So I mean, I guess it's a mini-series, but I guess they could always just say that they're going to do a season 2. We'll have to kind of wait and see on that. We don't have a release for it, but if I had to guess, because production is going to be starting pretty much ASAP, James Gunn has already started quarantining so that he can start work on it with other people, actually. So that means that we're probably going to see it coming out late next year, maybe early 2022, but most likely late next year. Next is Aquaman, King of Atlantis. This is a 3-part animated series that's going to be on HBO Max. Each episode is its own self-contained story, but it is kind of it is like a 3-part adventure. It's kind of in the DC Extended Universe, it's kind of an offshoot of it, kind of take it or leave it as far as we know now. Maybe they'll confirm that this isn't really in the DC Extended Universe, it just kind of fits within that canon. Kind of like if you remember Batman Gotham Knights, which was a series of short films released in 2008 that was supposed to kind of fit into the Nolanverse, but wasn't really canon. So Aquaman, King of Atlantis could be an example of that, but James Wan, the director and producer of Aquaman and Aquaman 2, is producing this show. So there you go. As for release date, something I am going to be referencing here. So back in May, around the time of launch for HBO Max put out a trailer on Twitter for their service, and in that trailer, when they're going through the original shows, they have a card that says, and coming next year, then they flash the titles of a ton of different shows. And Aquaman King of Atlantis was one of those, making the tentative release date coming out sometime next year. But at the same time, because of COVID, you know, you got to take that with a grain of salt. Those things could easily be pushed back to 2022, so I'm not going to necessarily consider that confirmed, but I will let you know when what shows were given that kind of trailer sneak peek. So next is Green Lantern. So Green Lantern is a miniseries. It's an anthology, kind of similar to Aquaman King of Atlantis in a way, except we don't think it's in the DC Extended Universe. It might be in the Arrowverse, because we do have the Green Lantern stuff in the Arrowverse now, in Arrow, and also just the fact that Greg Berlanti is involved with it means it could be there, but it also could be standalone, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Now, this is officially ordered for one season of, I think, 10 episodes, and it is anthology, as I said. It's going to be showing the Green Lantern's history across a large distance of time with multiple Green Lanterns. It's on HBO Max, and it is one of those shows that was supposed to premiere next year, but it might end up getting pushed to 2022. And that's probably what's going to happen. If not, maybe it's released really late next year. So now let's talk about the developed stuff. So first is DC's Strange Mysteries. This is another anthology Greg Berlanti show that was kind of announced at the same time that Green Lantern was, but it hasn't been officially picked up for HBO Max yet. It's still in development. It is an anthology show. It could be kind of as a companion series to Green Lantern. It could be like a mini-series like Green Lantern, but it could easily, just as easily be like an ongoing show. We don't really know yet. And in all likelihood, this will be standalone, but who knows? We could throw it into the Arrowverse or something. We'll have to wait and see on that. So next is Bizarro TV. Now this is a weird case because this is in kind of limbo. I'd actually personally consider this canceled, but it might not be. This was announced in late 2018 as something that was going to be happening on DC Universe. And it was essentially kind of a variety show that had combinations of animation, live action, and puppetry, and had various different short form content around DC shows. Maybe you see comedy sketches and cooking shows and things like that, just various short form things, and they actually wanted fans to get involved. Now the show has never been made for DC Universe, and it hasn't been outright canceled, so I am including it on here because there's a chance maybe HBO Max will announce they're picking it up for their service, but it's unlikely, so I'm just letting you know that. Next is DC Superhero High. Now I initially thought when I heard about this that this was going to be that the DC Superhero Girls cartoon that was happening did well enough that they were going to get a spin-off, because that takes place at a place called DC Superhero High. But that's not the case. This is its own live action thing, actually being produced by Elizabeth Banks. We don't know a ton about it other than that it's about a bunch of teenagers with superpowers going to a superhero high school, and this was one of the things that was slated for release sometime in 2021, but again, grain of salt. Next is Gotham PD. So Gotham PD is a spin-off of The Batman, taking place in the same universe and starring Commissioner Gordon kind of solving a crime in the corrupt Gotham City. And this show, it's almost like Gotham, but it takes place while Batman is out and about, and I'm sure stylistically it's a little bit different. In Gotham, it was kind of a crime show with superhero elements. This will probably veer closer to a superhero show, but this show was supposed to premiere. There was no release date or anything official, but it was speculated it was probably going to come out sometime in 2022. Because The Batman at the time was supposed to come out in 2021, so they're okay, give it a year, and then it'll come out sometime in 2022. And now that The Batman is coming out in 2022, it still could be coming out in 2022, just later in the year. But there was recently some trouble in that the showrunner for the show ended up dropping out. So we'll need to find a new showrunner unless Matt Reeves wants to take that up himself, which is kind of unlikely. I don't think they're going to end up canceling this show because they really have a lot of faith in this Batman, but it might get delayed a little bit while they find someone new. Next is Justice League Dark. Now, J.J. Abrams signed a deal to work with Warner Brothers starting this year with Bad Robot Productions, and one of the things he signed on to do was to produce a Justice League Dark live-action TV show for HBO Max. We don't know what continuity it's set in. A lot of people think it's like a repurposing of Guillermo del Toro's Justice League Dark movie for the DC Extended Universe. I don't think that's the case. I think it's pretty unlikely that this is DC Extended Universe. Maybe it's Arrowverse, but most likely it's its own thing. But again, yet to be confirmed. This was another show that was supposed to debut in 2021, but it's probably pushed back. Next we got Green Arrow and the Canaries. So Green Arrow and the Canaries was a spin-off of Arrow. So they made this as kind of a backdoor pilot as like the second to last episode of Arrow. And it's basically Mia Smoke taking up the mantle of Green Arrow and fighting crime alongside the various Black Canaries from the show. Kind of a cool concept. They made that backdoor pilot, which aired earlier this year, but since then, probably because of COVID stuff going on, there hasn't been any news on it whatsoever. Like, not even like the actors who are in it know anything about whether it's going forward or not. It's not technically canceled. It might be. We don't know. Maybe it'll end up getting picked up like the day after this video goes out. You never know. The next thing to talk about is Batwheels. Batwheels was a cartoon that was announced not too long ago. And it's essentially a kid's show about, like, the Batmobile and the other Bat vehicles coming to life. And it's just an animated show. It's going to be coming out simultaneously on HBO Max and Cartoon Network. And it's going to, like, obviously be its own thing. It's not part of, like, the DCAU or anything like that. So, yeah, if you have kids, they can look forward to that. Then we got Painkiller, which is an upcoming thing. They just announced they're developing like a week ago, I want to say, maybe even less than that. And it's a spin-off of Black Lightning. They're developing the show and having a backdoor pilot put into the upcoming season 4, I think they're on, of Black Lightning. So just like Green Arrow and the Canaries, this show, if it gets picked up, will be on the CW. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see on that. And then finally we got Wonder Girl. This was announced just a few days ago. They're developing a Wonder Girl TV show for the CW, presumably for the Arrowverse. Maybe this is why we're not getting Green Arrow and the Canaries, because Supergirl is ending next year, so they probably want a big kind of female-centric show to kind of replace Supergirl in a way. And so it's probably between this and Green Arrow and the Canaries, which could have been either a replacement for Supergirl or a replacement for Arrow, but now Superman and Lois is the replacement for Arrow, so it's kind of up in the air. So if this Wonder Girl show gets made, it is going to feature the new Wonder Woman in the comics that's going to debut in January. I think her name is Yara Flor, but I'm not like reading anything on that. Maybe I got it wrong, I don't know. But yeah, interesting stuff. I made a whole video talking about it. You can go check that out if you want. But yeah, that's every single show in development, ordered, or literally about to release for DC. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Go over to my Buy Me a Coffee page. Maybe donate some money. Just go over to buymeacoffee.com/ColeHershowski. Link in the description and on the channel page. Don't forget to subscribe for daily videos on the franchises you love, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.